Well, we have a sort of conundrum here, and that is that ethics are necessary where love is absent, and love appears to be absent when you're in, if you like, universal uncertainty. And the state rightly uses religion as the means of coordinating this lack of love and mismatch of people in its society. That their will is overridden by a fear of punishment for breaking the law, which is the imposition of ethical rules of consistency of behavior that would otherwise be absent given the uncertainties in all decision making, and therefore the misunderstandings, the uncertainties cause misunderstandings and discord. So the state uses law to regulate the discord, that you still have some sort of feasible, workable overall harmony in the society that achieves certain goals like protection from enemies and production, meeting the essential material wants of its members. If we think of heaven now as a place of certainty, all is known, if you like, we all have access to the Akashic record or the mind of God. And it's a place of love. Love that's not now not of necessity myopically focused onto simply binary relationship, marriage, but a loving kindness to all that, as I say in the previous recording, is not at the cost of any, because there is no shortage. You see, a fundamental of the environment of this universe is scarcity. Scarcity of the ability and the resources to achieve the multiplicity of goals that may be purposed by the individual members in the society, many of which are in conflict, much because of uncertainty. So, in a sense, you see, this universe is an incredibly demanding situation of how to survive in chaos. And hence the individual is given a tremendous will to survive. Else, well, quite simply, he wouldn't survive at all. Now, in the early stages of one's life, this is incredibly helped and protected by ideally devoted parents that give, not seeking anything in certainly immediate return. They are quite simply benevolent as regards the baby and the infant's needs. And if they're not, well, of course, the rest of society thinks this is terrible, because how's society going to continue unless we take care of the young? So we try to protect the young, and our laws and ethics, of course, reflect this. We have a society then in which individuals are not mindful of the welfare of others because of scarcity of resources, misunderstanding of what others' intentions are because of uncertainties and ignorance, and a variety of what we call selfish values that are not consistent with the welfare of all. And society, civilization, is some sort of overall attempt to regulate, control, and redress this, what presents as fundamental chaos among its people. And those societies that are not very able or efficient, capable of achieving such, vanish quickly, succumb to the dominance of those societies that do. And that's the history, the political and social history of mankind, as exampled by our world. I think I want to ask, in what sense then is this a useful experience and training to become eligible and graduate to the kingdom of heaven? Because in some sense, the environment here is, if you like, not remotely like the conditions that apply in heaven, where there is access to all knowledge, all understanding, and all individuals are lovingly motivated with, if not a common value system, a harmonious one, such that they can be given their complete freedom and not cause discord. But on the contrary, each adds wonderfully to the richness and beauty of heaven. And there is no death, of course. There's no illness. There are none of the difficulties that we face here in this universe, in our world, physical phenomena. Well, I'm aware it's a bit like the difference between the factory situation and the industrial complex compared to the social situation of the greater world at large. The environment of the factory where the product is being made is totally different to the environment in which the product is going to be used. The formation of something is quite violent as regards extremes, temperatures used, chemical reactions, physical mouldings into shape, cutting, polishing, painting, covering, all sorts of procedures that are, in a sense, incredibly violent compared to what the product is going to experience in the bulk of its life's journey. Although we do realize that the product will eventually fail and no longer be usable and ultimately be recycled, if you like, thrown away, recycled, and the materials recycled by nature or man. In heaven there's no making and no deterioration. Although having said there's no making, there is this eternal transformation into something better. It's a bit like the Pareto principle world of things are only done that make some things better and none worse. In other words, there's an individualism that has no cost for the benefits of the whole. We don't do things in heaven that destroy anything, but only adds to the beauty and loveliness and complexity of that which already is. But never has a negative effect. That's what heaven is, almost by definition. A sort of paraytow essence, universally adhered to, because all beings love each other, have the welfare of every individual at heart as a priority. Well, what we can say is that the experience of this world may make us long for such a utopia, a heaven. And we may, in what might present as a rather childish way, because of our incompetence, attempt to achieve such in the things that we do. Perhaps despairing sometimes at our inability to be able to do exactly that. But everything, in fact, here seems to have a cost. And we try to minimize costs, of course, maximize gains. But some costs seem inevitable here, which of course is the foundation of our desiring heaven and longing for God, which is precisely what's needed to graduate. This great longing to always be in harmony and consistency with all that is good, and the avoidance of all that is not. So we can see this world here as a factory, a particular classroom. The appropriate learning place. It trains us for heaven. And in that sense, you see, the presenting difficulties here are not to destroy, but to create us into a wonderful blessing, both for ourselves and all others in the kingdom of heaven. Thank you, Dad.